It was going to take just over a week for Tygan and Lily to finish their initial research into the Advent Warpgate, so it was up to me to find something for the rest of the men to do in the meantime. Our scavenging teams were preoccupied with stripping down the Advent train we had derailed, and some of our other men were busy with training or covert operations. But none of that had any direct effect on Advent. I decided it was best to keep up the pressure. After all, the last thing we wanted to do was give the aliens a chance to recover their breath, so I met with Bradford to review the latest intel reports. Before long, we had narrowed down the list of potential operations to just one. Apparently, the Advent general responsible for implementing Blightwalker's new training program was actually located relatively close to where we had already parked the Avenger. It would be a simple matter to send a Wetworks team over there on the Sky Ranger, and they could deliver a little payback for the contacts that Blightwalker had murdered. The general only had a token security escort, but they were in a well-entrenched position, hiding in the tunnels beneath Mendoza. I tasked Chiron, one of our Reaper allies, to lead the strike team. He expressed some concern over how well-known a number of our men were becoming, so he focused on filling out his squad with operatives who hadn't appeared in any of the propaganda material we had been spreading over the past few months. Although the team did lack somewhat in experience, they made up for it with enthusiasm and top-of-the-line equipment. As usual, I had no reason to doubt their ability to get the job done.
A trusted source in the Resistance has confirmed that a high-ranking Advent military officer will be moving through this area as part of a routine patrol. We have an opportunity here to completely disrupt Advent's command structure and delay their current operations. All we have to do is neutralize that officer. Menace 1-5, we're tracking the Advent General and his escorts, but we don't have an exact fix on their location. Sweep the area and eliminate the target along with any other hostiles that stand in your way.
Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to episode 37. We're up against a pretty run-of-the-mill mission today. I think this is, the third time we've gone after an Advent General? We've got a pretty good idea of what to expect by this point. We're just going to advance aggressively, try to take elevated positions where possible, and cut through any Advent pods we encounter until we can get line of sight on the enemy general. This perch up here should give us a pretty good view of the next room, so once we know what we're up against, we'll be able to plan out our next move.
I'll be swift. I have sight beyond vision.
Well, Chiron... Oh, okay. Well, there's an enemy pod, but they're in a completely different direction than I was expecting. We'll focus on moving the rest of the squad up into ambush positions. That way they can take out that pod next turn.
Headed there now. Affirmative. Moving out. Heading to that location.
We've also got another double agent in play, an Advent trooper. I'm not sure how much he'll be able to help us in a fight, but at the very least he'll make a good decoy. Okay, let's get everyone on Overwatch and see what these guys do.
Affirmative. Covering now. Covering now.
Nothing. They did nothing. Well, that just makes it easier to ambush them. It's just a 2-enemy pod, so we shouldn't have any trouble taking them out. Oh, but codices are immune to fire, so I shouldn't use my fire grenade. In fact, I'm a little hesitant to use explosives on these guys at all. Neither of them is armored, so it really feels like it would be kind of a waste. But then again, both of these targets are relatively hard to hit. So it's probably a good idea to start things off by hitting them both with an unavoidable area attack. I could just have the beast rush in there. The second they scattered, he would end up hitting them both with Blade Storm. Oh, except he's not actually a high enough level to have Blade Storm yet. Well, let's go ahead and bring the beast up anyway. I think I've got a good general idea of what I want to do here.
Moving to designated coordinates.
The codex is the biggest problem. Once that thing starts teleporting around, we can't hit it with Overwatch fire. But when we first activate the pod, it will move normally. So let's see if we can take it down with an ambush. Oh, well, that was easy.
There you go.
I guess that takes care of the first pod. That actually went a lot more smoothly than I had anticipated. Okay, I just realized that we've been advancing in the wrong direction. So let's start pushing over here instead, and... there's our second enemy pod. Looks like an elite trooper and another Archon. Unfortunately, we activated that pod pretty late in the turn, so there's not a lot we can do here. We'll just move our last couple of guys up and set them on Overwatch.
Moving to Overwatch. I see everything. We're picking up an inbound Advent transport. The aliens are going to try and extract the general from the AO. Don't let them get on board that ship. Incoming fire!
Okay, it looks like the enemies decided to play it safe. They're hanging back for now. We shouldn't have any trouble taking them out, but that trooper is on Overwatch, so we need to make sure we hit him with something before we start advancing. The beast is immune to Overwatch fire, so he can actually rush in there and hit the trooper with a blade rush. I'm just not sure I want to move him into an exposed position like that. I'm also not sure if I can risk moving up any of these other guys, because if they move into that trooper's line of sight, then he'll get a free shot on them. Okay, let's play it safe. We'll just move Chiron up and he'll lob a claymore over there.
Folk says I am to obey.
Oh, except he's actually too far away. Well, so much for that plan. Alright, we'll just push the beast up a little closer. He'll pick up that loot, and then maybe he'll be able to tag the trooper from there. Ooh, we can always use an advanced repeater, but the beast has no line of sight, so he'll go into Overwatch. And unfortunately, that puts us right back where we started. I guess we'll just start moving the whole squad up. We'll assume that the trooper can't actually see us from that angle.
Moving to position.
In fact, if we're lucky, those enemies will actually come towards us. They'd get cut down pretty quickly in the crossfire.
I'm on it. Got it covered. I'm on it.
Nice. That takes care of the Archon.
That's it. There is nowhere to hide. Missed the target. That is not good. I'm taking fire.
Okay, that went pretty well. And the trooper has moved up into a more ideal position for a blade rush, so let's go ahead and have the beast move in. There we go. That takes care of the second enemy pod. We've only got 4 turns left before the general evacuates, so let's go ahead and push Chiron up aggressively, see if we can get line of sight on another pod.
I am trusting you.
I'd like to push up a little further, but that is a risky move. We don't really know what's around the corner. But I suppose it would hardly be the first time I've taken a foolish risk.
I go where I am needed. A patrol is upwind. We're near the objective. Target identity confirmed. That's the General. Take him out before they can escape. We won't get another shot at this. I will always find you.
Okay, we've got our target in sight, so let's start moving everyone else in that direction. We just want to be careful. Oh, okay, well, scratch that. We have been spotted. Looks like it's just the General and the Purifier, so still nothing to worry about. We're seeing an awful lot of two-man pods today. I may need to see if I can find some way to increase pod sizes in the future.
Heading there now.
Well, let's start off by hitting these guys with a grenade. That should knock out the Purifier's armor and clear out all that cover.
Here, catch!
That took out most of the cover, but the General is still pretty well entrenched. I guess we'll focus on taking out the Purifier first, since he's the easier target. Actually, let's go ahead and hit these guys with another grenade. There's only one more pod out there, so there's no real reason to conserve explosives at this point.
This is for you.
Okay, now, let's see what else we're working with here. Varnas doesn't have a good line of sight, but he can give Shellshock another action. We've also got Try Again and the Double Agent. Okay, first we'll have Try Again take out the Purifier. There we go.
No longer a threat.
Oh, and hair trigger proc. We'll come back to that. Now let's have Varnas use Teamwork to give Shellshock an extra action.
Keep going.
And now we'll have Shellshock use Suppressive Fire to keep the General's head down.
Blasting that target.
I guess we might as well take the extra attack, too. Nice. That puts the General a little closer to death. Alright, let's start moving the beast into a flanking position.
Is it clear?
And now let's see if we can finish off the General. Well, that was quick.
That's right. Menace 1-5, kill confirmed. That's how it's done. We need to clear the area of any remaining hostiles. We can't allow them to recover the General's body.
We know there's one more enemy pod on the field at this point, and we know it contains a sectopod, so let's move the rest of our squad up and we'll set everyone on Overwatch.
Back online. Locked and loaded. On Overwatch. The target is marked.
And here they come.
I got nothing. Our target, minimal damage.
Alright, time to break out the explosives. Oh, but first I should make sure our Grenadiers are under cover. Shellshock is already in a good position, so we'll have him fire the first shot. He can't hit everyone, so we'll focus on the armored targets for now.
Locked on.
That's a good start. Now let's bring someone else up and we can hit them again. Let's bring Varnas up. He's got the Shredstorm cannon, so he should be able to hit at least 2 targets.
Moving out. Who wants some?
Close, but not quite enough. I was really hoping that would take out the mech, but now I guess we'll just have to hit them with another area attack.
Absolutely. Grenade!
That takes care of the mech, but we've still got the Sectopod and that Lancer to deal with. Hopefully we can take the Sectopod out with just 1 or 2 more shots.
Orders confirmed. Moving out.
Oh, and there's Hair Trigger again, so let's finish the job. Now we've just got this Lancer to deal with, but we should be able to take him out pretty easily. Chiron will lob a Claymore up there onto his perch.
Now we wait.
And then we'll blow the whole thing out from under him. It looks like the Lancer just barely survived the blast, but since the beast hasn't gone yet, we can finish this with 1 more shot.
I'm going. One down. We have confirmation. Mission accomplished.
Another smooth, easy mission. I think it may be time to start taking a look at some more difficulty options.
Vicious criminals inflicted a sudden and unprovoked assault upon us today. May our thoughts be with the Advent citizens we lost. May they truly be at peace forever in the Elder's loving embrace.
Commander. The aliens must be getting nervous by now.
Okay, looks like we've got 3 promotions this time. First up, we'll grab Revival Protocol for Try Again. Then the Beast will pick up Bladestorm. And Varnas, who finally got some time in the field. He'll go ahead and pick up Lightning Hands. Alright, good work everyone. Advent hadn't really managed to put up much of a fight lately, so I don't think anyone was surprised to learn that Operation Death Saga had been completely successful. The Advent General was dead, Blightwalker's latest plot was in shambles, and our men had come back with a new heap of valuable intel. As I had predicted, our latest success kept the men's spirits up while we waited the last few days until our latest research project could be completed. Thankfully, things remained pretty quiet during that time. Deus continued his training down in the Psi Lab, and Colonel Winter returned from his special training with the skirmishers. Apparently the training regimen had been just as demanding as Matos had promised. It was going to take Colonel Winters a few days to recover, but he was quick to agree that the training had been quite effective. Although it was always nice to enjoy some downtime, it was important to remember that we were constantly consuming resources just to keep the Avenger in the air. I spent at least a few days coordinating with our recovery teams, sending Joey and Blackbane out on a supply run, while also sending Pierce and Woe out to canvass for new intel. Chiron's earlier comments about some of our operatives becoming too high profile had piqued my curiosity, so I decided to spend the last day rummaging through all the propaganda material we had been using to recruit potential allies. I guess I had never really thought about it before, but our gray shirts had been using every one of our operations as an excuse to spread the word of our success. They had produced dozens of posters by that point, many of them clearly displaying our covert operatives in exaggerated patriotic poses. I guess it did explain why Advent had begun recognizing many of our operatives on site, but I guess it was also hard to deny that the posters had been very effective in coercing potential allies to throw in with our organization. I'd have to give the whole matter some more thought, but I did at least make a mental note to start focusing on using some of our lower-profile operatives in the future, just to keep Advent's peacekeepers off balance. By the end of the month, Tygan and Lily had finally managed to get the Advent Warpgate operational again. It was a calculated risk. If Advent knew we had reactivated the gate, they could theoretically flood the Avenger with troops, but fortunately our experiment seemed to go unnoticed. Lily had wired the remains of a codex to one of her drones, and she sent it through the portal to scout out what was on the other side. While we did catch a brief glimpse of some sort of alien facility, it didn't take long for the security protocols to kick in, and the gateway quickly spit our drone back out on our side of the portal, a little worse for wear. Tygan and Lily got caught up in a discussion about how they could theoretically bypass the security measure, but I was more concerned about finding out more about this new alien facility. Thankfully, this latest round of experiments had rekindled Tygan's interest in the project, so it took minimal effort to convince him to immediately turn his attention towards trying to decipher the rest of the data that we had collected. At this point, we had gathered numerous pieces of the puzzle. I just had to hope that whatever was hidden in that alien data would finally give us what we needed to start putting all those pieces together.